think that, find somebody who knows what you don't know. I mean, we're not trained to be marketing gurus or mavens. We're trained to be attorneys and think like attorneys. And so thankfully I have a law partner that's a little bit more well-versed in this stuff. So I brought like some pens and things, other marketing materials. And she's like, we've got to do this stuff because she actually does real estate law. So it's so important that we have like lots of nice shiny stuff. I mean, I fight for the little guy against the big insurance companies in this country. And people are like, oh, really? Wow. One other thing though too, and this is, Ken can probably appreciate some of this, like, so my job is to persuade a jury at the end of the day, and I got to sell my client to these 12 strangers who I've never met. But one thing I talk about in voir dire all the time, especially if there's chiropractic care, and I have no problem saying this, I feel comfortable in my own skin, I don't believe in it, man. I don't believe in chiropractic care. Jurors and my client turn around and go, what? Are you kidding me? I went to the chiropractor 25 times, I'm like, but I've got to be comfortable enough in front of a jury to tell them that and then say, look, who else here has a problem with chiropractic care? Are you going to be fit to serve on this jury if you hear about chiropractic care? Because I couldn't. I'd have to tell you, I'm not going to be comfortable. It's just not for me. So that idea of not faking it is huge. How about this? This is a little toss up. 4 or 5 words to describe your own brand. We'll kind of shift gears a little bit. What would you use to describe your own brand? I know we talked about a lot of what makes your brand and what things you've done, but maybe just try to describe it in a few words. It's a tough one.
I'm a C student. I need a few minutes to get fired.
Right.
I need some more. Whatever.
For me, it's progress. Because of criminal justice reform, discipline because it takes a lot of hard work. Sometimes you need to be in the office on the weekends. Then reform is what we're focusing on. And I can't even say passionate, I can say obsessed. Is that 4 or 5?
That's good. Yeah.
We're going to go with
it. Passionate was one of mine. Passion. We get the job done, and it may not always be what you want, but we're going to get you the best that we can get you, considering that we have Homeland Security on the other side. There really don't exist that many options. Honest, we have so many referrals from people that we can't help that are like, you know what? She said she couldn't help you. They didn't take my money, but we want you to go see her because she might be able to help you. That's 3, and. Creative. We're very creative in the strategies that we use for our clients.
I would say trust, professionalism, dedication, hard work. If I'm opposing anybody on the other side that'll be here, in my mind, my mindset is nobody will outwork me. Nobody will out research, study cases and know how to handle a situation. So preparation, I think, would be one. And just, again, the personal touch with all of my clients.
Well, I just had the benefit of a couple of minutes, so I'm thinking about it. But my passion for my brand is empowerment through advocacy and advocacy through empowerment. So the point is, when people come into my office, lighting up their head with that aha moment of their rights and how to maintain and enforce their rights. So that moment when the light goes off in their head and they realize this is what the law means and this is how it could benefit me. I get it now. That's my focus.
And I'd like to add that sometimes, one thing I just thought about right now is I've had my practice for 5 years, and for 5 years I've been the name and the face. And I'm in a transition period where I am selling the crap out of my team, because I can't handle all of the cases. And I think that's something that's really important. Are you going to brand just yourself and you're the attorney and you're the one who goes to court and you're the one that does everything? Or do you have a very excellent team with people who are even better than you that are going to fight for your clients and get the best outcome?
Can I add my 5th?
Yeah, man.
So educational. When clients come into my office, I don't want to hoard information. I give it to them freely because they can't go walk in court and do it anyway. So I'd rather educate them and show them that I care about them so that they don't become repeat customers.
My 6th, no, don't worry.
No 6?
No, I'm good.
I I'm going off script here for a minute, so y'all, it's a pretty easy question, but Cyrus got my brain working and talking about team and her team and the people that are with her. I bring that up because we've had pretty high turnover in the past couple of months. I've had to fire some people, and that's not fun.
No.
So I wonder, can y'all touch on if you have had that experience where, what did you do to bring employees in and explain your brand to them? Because, right, so we've got somebody that answers our phones right now that every time I hear her answer the phone, my whole body cringes. I feel like uniformity is really good, so I want them to say, "Good morning, Lyman Brast," and that's it.
Right.
This woman, I hope none of y'all call my firm now. I'm like, "Good afternoon, Lyman Brast. How are you doing? This is so-and-so speaking. Can I help you at all?" And I'm like, let's just stick to the script, okay? I just tell her over and over. Anyway, so my point is are there things that y'all have done to help, I guess, transpose your brand onto your team or your employees?
I think it starts, if I may.
Yeah.
It starts at the moment you put the job ad up. We're very precise in the wording that we use and the expectations, and then all the way through the entire glide path of interviewing them, getting them in, training them, and onboarding them. I mean, from the very beginning, we make it very clear what our culture is and how our office operates. So I think that's the best way I can answer the question. And just tell her how to answer the phone.
It's hard. I gave her the script. We're talking.
We'll have another conversation after.
Now, my script in my office, it's a great day at the law office of Lanier. How may we help you? And I do test from time to time just to see if that's happening. But I think for me, I mean, you have your policies and your procedures, but I think you as the attorney, as the firm owner, shows your employees, how they should act, how they should treat people. So if they see me returning phone calls at 6, 7 o'clock at night, if they see me, staying in the office to do emails, that rubs off on them. And they know that, if I can do it, they can do it. And as a team, we set that foundation for making sure we treat everybody a certain type of way.
Setting up a good culture takes time, right? The Atlanta Falcons didn't just get to the Super Bowl. They started off with the draft. They got the right players. They go to preseason. They do all the things that they need to do to build up the team. They cut the wrong players. They go up and down. They have some losses, some wins. It takes time. You got to build that relationship. Rapport building with your teammates in your office is extremely important. We do escape rooms all the time as an office just to kind of critically think together. We go out to lunch often. We do birthdays together. We do whatever it takes to develop the culture. And we joke around a lot. We have a good time. There's a lot of downtime you'll find when you practice law, but when it's time to get serious, it's time to get serious. And if you guys have that rapport, that you understand each other, that this is time to produce, people will follow your leadership in that sense. But take care of them. That's why you want to do those different things. I'm not saying take them to an escape room, but do whatever it is that you think will fit.
I haven't been yet in a position where I've had to hire or fire anybody. I currently only have 2 other employees, which is my paralegal and my office manager. They're husband and wife, and they're both Vietnamese. But I brought them on with me from my very first job because I worked with them, and our rapport was excellent. And I know that the type of market that we're tapped into. But I made it very clear to them when I started the business was that I wanted to tailor to the Vietnamese community. That's where I felt like my path was going to be. So that's our brand, and they know that since day one. And they impart the brand in turn on me too, because I get to learn from them a lot of ways, cultural ways, how to approach those clients. Because you can't just it's not one brand fits all for each culture. In this country, we're too focused on being politically correct, and no, you can't say this, you can't say that, and not every culture thinks the same. We're all human, we all bleed red, but there are certain proclivities that you have to be aware of. And not everybody is American. Everybody talks differently, they say things differently, they think differently. And that, having them help me see that has been tremendous. So I haven't just imparted the brand on them, they've imparted it on me.
Zara, do you have something else?
Yeah, I was going to add, because I want to keep going back to giving examples for those who are going to be associates at law firms. It's not just a practice of law. Really look at the culture of the law firm, they do team building exercises. We do them as well, and we don't just practice law all day. I had a meeting this morning with 2 of my paralegals on how we can improve a policy and procedure, and then I had to come here. I said, okay, well, I'm leaving. Go grab the other 2 attorneys and present to them what you think we should take the direction in. And to me, the players on my team who want to do other things outside of just the legal work, they're like my rock stars, and that's really important. Don't think it's just the law, because yes, you're going to be a lawyer, but there are other super meaningful ways that you can contribute to the law firm. And when the owners of the firm see that, I'm sure you will be compensated in a different way.
Do they have brothers and sisters, those people you're talking about? They look cool.
We hire slow and fire fast, and we're going through a growth, and I've been interviewing for 3 weeks straight. It's a lot of work, you guys. It's a lot of work.
Painful. Ken talked about this earlier with the marketing people that he uses. And when I read this question, I think about some other things, but I want to get the panel's ideas on what resources are there for probably law students and newly minted lawyers to work on their branding strategy. Are there things that you all have found beneficial, things that you found not beneficial?
ICLE is great because it helps you learn a bunch of different things. It doesn't update you on just the law. It can help you on being a better speaker. It can help you on team building, and so taking those types of courses always help. And then of course the state bar offers you their office, and they have people there that can consult with you and counsel you on what you can do to be a better practitioner.
I'm just
Crickets.
there's just a lot. I agree with Dave. There's so many resources out there. And, I was talking to a friend recently, and he's a personal injury attorney, and he saw one of his own friends that he's known for years post something on Facebook that they were looking for a personal injury attorney. And he calls her up and he said, I'm so sorry. I've done a terrible job at, teaching you what it is that I do. How could you not know that I practice personal injury? Do you not like my Facebook page? Do you not see the things I post? So get some feedback from people around you, your friends, your family. I think they can be honest. And I also know someone else who said he was told by some of his colleagues that he was dressing like an old man. So he hired a clothier or stylist to help him dress more comfortable. And his style is he likes to wear jeans with a blazer and a button down. And he was showing up to office in these very awkward suits every day. And that's just not who he is. He's his own business owner, so he's able to show up in jeans. But that's something that he got feedback from those around him.
Again, I echo the panelists. There's research out there on the internet and so forth, but I do think if you can, once you get out, you can afford it. I think you can leverage other resources, as I have, to grow exponentially and do great things and devote your time to the practice of law.
If we're talking resource specifically, for example, there's a resource called Daylight. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of that, but it's a management software. It helps you manage all of your clients, prospects, leads, negotiations between the clients, where they're at with payment, when's your court date, etc. And it's the best money I've ever spent. A company named 3A did it. They came out, they installed everything. Everything syncs to my phone, to my iPad, to my desktop. And wherever I'm at, I can update it. It's all in sync, and it just makes my life so much easier. And it's not that expensive. It's worth investing into it. So those resources are beyond helpful. They make you efficient.
One thing I wanted to share on that was, as Ira touched on this, I met with a guy once who said, he told me this story, and it's a famous story. So Henry Ford had this famous buddy of his who was a car insurance guy, and they played golf together for years and years, 20 years, 30 years, something. And one day, the insurance guy said to Henry, he said, man, look, we've been playing golf for 25 years, and you've never sent me one client. You've never sent me anybody. How is that? And Henry Ford said, man, you never asked me. So the moral of that story is don't be afraid to extend your hand and say, look, I'm a personal injury attorney. I'm looking for cases. You happen to be an immigration attorney or whatever. That idea of extending your hand was huge for me. What about, I know we talked a little bit about resources outside of or like during practice? What about in law school? Was there anything y'all found especially important during law school in terms of resources for building your brand?
I think for me,
It's tough stuff, y'all.
yeah, for me it was
It's not legal, that's.
the practical aspect of being in an internship and just working for people and see how they do it. Take the good, take the bad, and internalize everything you see. And imagine yourself in their shoes, in their position, and how you would handle it. I think that's the quickest and most efficient, at least right off the bat. Other than resources you can get from your classwork, just the internships and the hands-on experience, there's nothing like it.
The best thing I did in law school was apply for the 30-year Practice Act and get into the government for the last year of school. I barely ever saw a classroom. I was in court the entire time. I was getting credit for it. And John Marshall set that up for me. I talked to, I think it was Renata Turner, and she handled all of that. She helped me fill everything out. She got me an opportunity. And then next thing you know, I'm practicing law as a student for an entire year. I tried more cases than some attorneys do in 5 years while I was a 3L. And that's extremely important. That's a resource that is invaluable.
And,
No, go ahead.
and part of the brand, Nick was just talking about working with different employers. When they give you projects, they are paying attention to how you react. Are you stressed out? Do you have too much? Do you take it and say, okay, I'm going to do this, and get it done? Do you take it and say, oh, but you gave me 5 other things that are due tomorrow. How do you want me to prioritize them? Your work ethic in the workplace, as you're interning, as you're clerking or whatever volunteering you might do in law school, it will be around forever. You will apply to jobs at other places, and then you're going to pick up the phone and be like, oh, look at that. He works for my buddy Dave. Let me call him up and see, what kind of intern he was or she was. So keep that in mind as well.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say networking. The practice of law and law is basically a referral business. So probably 80% of your work will come from other attorneys. So the more you meet people, the more you go to different events or volunteer for different things, just being around and knowing people will be probably the best thing you can do, I think, in law school.
If I may add one thing, do not underestimate, I repeat, do not underestimate Yvonne Betancourt in the Career Development Services. If possible, get a part-time job working there. That's what I did. Mm-hmm. Not that it gives you any extra in, but, because that's unethical, but you get firsthand opportunity to learn about interviewing skills, how to talk to people, how to network, just basic etiquette and how to eat dinner with a lot of these professionals. That will set you apart leaps and bounds. Some people think that they can just get the jobs and get all the opportunities based on their own weight and GPA. And you might be top of the class, but do you have personality? Do you know how to relate to people? This is a people business. And when you get in the business, yeah, you have to deal with the numbers, and you might have billing requirements, billable hours, revenue requirements, but you're not going to meet that if you don't have the people skills and you don't know how to drive the machine called the people business. So do not underestimate the school resource here of career services.
Mm-hmm.
And Yvonne has everyone's cell phone. She will call us and say, I've got 3 students this Friday, can you come interview them? And if I can't, she calls the next attorney. She does not give up on you guys, ever. I never seen her do that. So I second that, square it, root it, whatever you want to say. Stay in contact with her and make sure you're in her face all the time. I'm looking, this is what I'm interested in. And she's at the point now where she knows exactly who to call when someone's looking for an immigration opportunity or someone's looking for criminal law opportunity in what part of town. She's that good.